Test. Call to order the Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023 meeting of the City of Cleveland Board of Control. If the Secretary would please call the roll.
Directors Griffin.
Here.
Abanama.
Here.
Kane.
Here.
Margolius.
Here.
Hernandez.
Here.
Director Romero.
Here.
Director Jackson.
Here.
McNamara.
Here.
And O'Toole.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Director Abanama, would you please speak to your resolution?
Yes, thank you, Acting Mayor and Board. We have 5 items on the agenda today. Commissioner Kim Roy Wilson will address the first of them.
This first request is for the redesign of the city's new website. Project IT and the city's communications office are at the final stages of completing all of the requirements for the launch of the new website, which now includes content review and editing. Due to the large volume of the content citywide to be reviewed and edited, we are requesting services from the website vendor, Recess Creative, to assist the city in completing this effort. And this content editing and copyright editing includes grammatical review, formatting, content flow, editorial guidelines, to ensure that information is accurate, clear, and correct at a cost not to exceed $21,060. Additionally, on this request, there is the maintenance of the mayor's existing page. We launched a mayor's page in anticipation of a new website a year ago, and there's ongoing maintenance services that are required to maintain that page, and we're asking for an additional 30 hours to do that until we go live with the new launch of $4,050.
Great. Do you want to continue with any others?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then do you want to do the 311?
Sure.
Item number 4.
During contract negotiations, United Way requested to include a cost escalation clause in the 2 one-year options of the contract, which states that if the call volume of the preceding year increases by 8%, then the city will be required to pay an additional 5% escalator. In the contract, we identified the baseline of the current call volume for the first year to be 1,600. So for the escalator to take effect in the first year, the call volume would have to be around 1,728 or higher. This would cover them in the event they would need to hire additional staff to take calls. Also, the city has the ability to capture how many calls come into the city and how many are routed to the United Way for reconciliation purposes as well.
Great.
Okay, and then items 2 and 3, Sherry Ullery.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am seeking authorization to enter into a contract with MyCom Network of Greater Cleveland to provide a youth participatory action project, research project on youth violence in the community. The youth would research violence in the community and develop plans for execution in the fall. Do you want me to go on to the next one? The next one is...
Director Hernandez would like to ask a question.
Oh, okay.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what the participatory action research might actually look like? I'm not a lawyer here, but from like a liability, like research, what are the actual actions going to be taken by youth?
So they will, for the summer, they'll be doing the exploration, the research, and talking about the different issues that are in their specific community. And so we'll identify 3 different communities to work with. Probably the central neighborhood would be one, the Huff area would be another. And they would do research on violence, and then as a group, they would talk through what are some things that they could do to combat violence in their community, and then develop some plans for execution.
Okay. So like not out there talking to...
No, this is
purveyors. Okay. All right, this is an academic...
It's an academic exercise. That actually, they did this in Shaker Heights.
Yeah.
And they would, when they get to the implementation period of the process, but that would all be approved, whatever actions they would take would all be approved by administration.
I had gang leader for a day in my mind, and
Yeah, it's like some kind of mixed methods research that involves changing as you go or something like that.
iteration. Thank you.
Never done it before.
Any additional questions? Good, do we have a presentation of additional, resolutions from finance?
I've got another one.
Please.
This one, we're seeking authorization to enter into a contract with Rhonda Crowder and Associates. This is for a marketing program. Our youth would participate in learning all about marketing. They would learn about software that is used in marketing strategies. They could actually earn certification in that software, in those software programs. And then they would put together marketing plans, and then in the fall, it would again be implementation. So the first half of the summer, they would be actually learning about marketing and learning the software. The second half of the summer, they would be developing plans as a group, and then in the fall, they would be implementing those plans, of course, after authorization.
Director Almanama,
Yes.
additional,
One final item, number 5, and give the Office of Sustainability to present that item.
Good afternoon, board. Thank you, Acting Mayor. This resolution in front of you, basically on March 1st, this board had adopted a resolution to enter into a contract with Direct Energy for a 3-year natural gas contract. So the resolution today in front of you is just a simple amendment to acknowledge that we received a price refresh from the vendor on March 9th. So essentially, this Board of Control resolution today, if adopted, would amend that resolution by saying, and as revised by March 9th, Direct Energy's proposal. That's pretty much it.
so a price refresh, does that mean an increase?
There was a slight increase because of the market, but it was still within range of what was considered acceptable by the city.
Do we need to amend the contract in order to permit this? I mean, are they bound to a certain? So can we hold them to the contract?
Chief, yes, go ahead.
Yes, the director of the board. The contract, the cover letter to the contract will be amended to reflect the additional Board of Control resolution and the additional price refresh, which was necessary for Direct Energy had to refresh its price in order to enter into the contract. So, because they would not commit to it until we had Director Almanama's signature on it.
I see, okay. So then we'll have a binding, so a price refresh is an increase, according to anybody else. But we have to do it because there was a gap in time between when it was approved. And so going forward, once it's signed, though, we will have a fixed price.
Correct.
Okay.
And it was not necessarily going to be a price increase. It's a market-based price, and so the market went up a little bit in between the first resolution and the setting of the cost. It very well could have gone the other direction.
So it's not like we're letting them out of something that they're contractually obligated.
No,
It was anticipated.
Okay, thank you. I just need to ask questions as
Absolutely.
steward of taxpayer dollars.
Yes, and yes, ma'am.
Are there any additional questions for the resolution submitted today by the Finance Department? There being no additional questions, if the Secretary could please call the roll.
All in favor of adoption of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Adopted.
Director Kane, could you please speak to your resolution?
Thank you. Good afternoon, Acting Mayor, members of the Board. Department of Public Utilities has 4 items for consideration. First, item 2323, approving the requirements contract to Core and Main LP for service fittings for the Division of Water for 6 months in the amount of $83,335.50. Item 2423 is rejecting all bids received March 1, 2023 for certain items of service fittings for the Division of Water. That is item number 39, which was, it was received at an amount of $1,000 with a low quantity. We determined if they are needed, we will do them by requisition. Item 2523 is approving the requirement contract to Core and Main LP for various items of ductile iron pipe fittings for the Division of Water for 6 months, the amount of $852,992.12. Those are items 1 through 137 on the bid package, and then on to number 2623, rejecting all bids received on March 1 for ductile iron pipe fittings, which is item number 138 for the Division of Water. Recommend approval.
Director Kane, just quickly, reasons for rejecting the bids on 2623?
So as stated for number 2423, oh, I'm sorry, you said specific.
Well,
2623?
both of these are one. Both of them, actually.
Yeah, on number 2423, that is rejecting item number 39, which the value was being estimated at $1,000, which was determined that if we did need that item, we will purchase by requisition. And then on number 138, as reflected in recommendation 2623, the bid was non-responsive to that specific item because those were the specialty parts with special sizes and reducers, which again, if we do need those for the operation of Cleveland Water, we would acquire by other means.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions for Director Kane? There being no further questions, if the Secretary could please call the roll.
All in favor of adoption of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Adopted.
Mr. Edmonds, on behalf of Capital Projects, could you please speak to your resolution?
Good afternoon, Mayor, members of the board, Mayor's Office of Capital Projects. We're presenting one resolution today, authorizing the Director of Capital Projects to enter into contract with City Architecture and their subconsultants to provide for the establishment and execution of a MOCAP public engagement coordination program in support of capital projects executed by MOCAP. As you may be aware, traditionally MOCAP has not had a lot of public engagement and has not been a really systematic part of our design process. This is working to help establish that and to help bring the professional expertise of City Architecture and their subconsultants to help us do that properly. We put out an RFP. We received 2 valid proposals from Third Space Action Lab, City Architecture. We had 5 evaluators evaluate the proposals. City Architecture had the highest score, partly because of the broad range of subconsultants they had. They also happened to be the lower fee of the 2, and they were the only one of the 2 that met the OEO participation goals.
Just so that I clarify, they're the only one of the 2 that met the OEO requirements?
That's correct.
Great. And they were the lower of the bid?
Correct.
Thank you. Are there any other, Director Hernandez?
So I'm looking at the subconsultants and I see NA for quite a few of these, but like, I know Shelley Freed is female-owned business and I know Julian is a black-owned business.
Yeah, but they, in order to get credit for those, they have to be registered with the Mayor's Office of Equal Opportunity.
Okay.
And I know Julian's only been on a short time, and apparently he's not.
Didn't get it, okay.
The registration.
Okay.
But
So it's even more than what is on here, but we can't consider that, yeah.
It would be good to encourage them to register with you.
I will do that.
And I'm sure Director Mitchell will call and ask them to certify. Great. Any additional questions? There being no further questions, if the Secretary could please call the roll.
All in favor of adoption of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Adopted.
We have a walk-on today from Director Martin O'Toole. If she could please speak to her resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Board. There is one resolution before you for the Department of Building and Housing, and this is to enter into a contract with Baker Tilly to do an analysis of the Division of Construction permitting. So our permitting process was one of the mayor's 108 priorities. And so this was the contractor selected by a review committee. And the contract is not to exceed $115,900.
Are there any questions for Director Martin O'Toole? There being no further questions, the Secretary could please call the roll.
All in favor of adoption of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Adopted.
Before we adjourn, I want to welcome to our happy midst interim HR Director Eduardo Romero. So welcome and thank you. And we look forward to working with you as Board of Control.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Is there any further business to come before the Board of Control? There being no further business, I declare this meeting adjourned.